And Pastor Emmanuel.
This call is not taking place.
Thank you, Pastor Gibson. Don't you want to greet us quickly? Line is very bad. Pastor Gibson, you want to please for us, Pastor Gibson, don't you want to introduce yourself? Go ahead, Brother Ronald. Your hand is up.
Okay, no. Just going to say you can't hear anything from anyone clearly. But it's clear now. Thanks.
Okay.
Can you repeat what you are saying?
It's Pastor Gibson's feed.
Yeah, Pastor Gibson, if you can get your sons to probably just introduce themselves. I'm not sure if you guys are in the same place. That's why we have this problem with your sound. But if your sons can quickly introduce themselves.
We are not in the same place. I will tell them.
I'll tell them.
Thank you, Pastor Gibson. Yes, I see one of them left. But Pastor Gibson's son, I see the name here is Dunamis. I know that's not your name. Don't you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where you are located?
Chindawi. Yeah, I mean, to be precise, in the Copper Belt, one of the provinces in Zambia.
Sorry, Pastor, I did not get your name. I know you're located in the Copper Belt. What is your name?
Pastor Emmanuel Dunamis Chindawi. Yeah, so where I am, I'm on my way somewhere, so the network is a little bit tricky. But I'm getting what is happening. I'm following.
Okay, welcome, Pastor Emmanuel. Thank you for that information. And yes, we will bear with you. If you need to say anything, you can go ahead and raise your hands during the meeting. And I think your brother's also here. Don't you want to please introduce yourself? You can unmute your mic.
Yeah, so my name's Zacchaeus Chindawi.
Welcome, Zacchaeus. Where are you located?
Just in the capital city of.
So you're based in Lusaka?
Yes.
Okay. And your brother Emmanuel is in the Copper Belt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, welcome to the meeting. Sorry we couldn't connect last week. I know we tried to connect, but we were unable to. So welcome, and we hope you feel at home. And I'm sure your dad would have.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Your dad would have told you what we're trying to do, and we can follow from there. We know your family very well. We know Peter very well, and hopefully we can do something. Right.
We hope so as well.
Amen. Okay, I want to welcome everybody. We have some latecomers that will join us in a bit. I sent through the last minutes of the meeting. Everybody's got that. Can we quickly ratify those minutes? Is it an accurate representation of what we have been working on? Can we quickly second that? Everyone happy with it? Brother Ronald, your hand is up.
Yes, Pastor, I ratify the minutes for the meeting.
Okay, Brother Ronell confirms that the the minutes is accurate. We want to second that. Anybody else wants to second that?
Seconded.
Okay, thank you, Pastor Elson. Okay, so we can confirm everybody's gone through that. You know what we've discussed. For those of you that were not here, Pastor Emmanuel and Pastor Zacchaeus, we will send you a copy of it so you can keep ahead of what we are doing. Some of the things that we want to quickly go through today, which is to just have a follow-up on where we were the last time that we spoke. And I just want to quickly go through it. Pastor Joris and Brother Brian, they're joining late, so we'll see you to them. Bishop Brenda still traveling. Pastor Gibson is here. Pastor Gibson, any information you have for us about Zambia and what the market is looking for, stuff like that? What is their need for in terms of what can we bring in from South Africa, and what is it that you guys have in Zambia? I'm talking to Pastor Gibson, but Pastor Emmanuel and Zacchaeus, one of the things we're trying to do is establish products that are manufactured in your local country that you want to export to South Africa, and what do we have in South Africa that we can export to your country? Pastor Gibson, Pastor Emmanuel, anything you want to add? Any products? I'm just going over the last minutes. Nothing. Okay, Pastor Gibson's mic is a bit on the strange side, but we'll come back to Zambia. Pastor Elson, any feedback for us? We had a... Okay, somebody unmuted their mic. Is that Pastor Emmanuel?
My network is breaking a little bit.
Go ahead. Okay. I think this is one of the things that we have to work around in Africa. Sometimes we have challenges with the network. Welcome, Brian. Welcome, Precious. Nice to see you. Sister Nisha, good to see you. Didn't greet you guys. Hope you're well.
Thank you, Pastor.
You're welcome. Okay, so Pastor Elson, anything from the last time that we spoke? We were discussing some meetings that we wanted to set up, but I said let's get the foundations right before we do that. But anything you want to report to the group about? Maybe we were talking about Mozambique, Eswatini, and Lesotho. Any ideas about products that we can bring in or take out?
With regard to Swaziland, the gentleman I spoke about has traveled to Egypt. So, greetings everyone. Sorry, we greeted before you. Greetings to those who joined us later. Yeah, so the gentleman has traveled to Egypt. He says he will be available for a meeting where we will also invite Pastor Ash on Tuesday evening, because he normally has church meetings or church classes. So it will be an online meeting. So I'm still waiting for him to indicate that he's back, because he wanted to understand certain things. And then I said, no, it's better we have a meeting with Pastor Ash. Then with regard to Mozambique, I've got a bishop there. They said also he's out on some political or governmental missions. He has not indicated his availability so far. In Lesotho, I have not received a response. Yeah, that's all I can submit for tonight.
Thanks, Pastor Elson. Also, Pastor Gibson and his sons are in Zambia, and I think you also mentioned that you traveled to Zambia in the past, and you have a network there. Maybe if you can also just connect with them and see how that is going, and maybe just guide them.
Yes, most of the people that I know, they are in Lusaka. So I will try and get them with Pastor Gibson.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and then we've got Pastor Mike Songiso. He's based in Namibia. He just traveled to Lusaka and he'll be spending some time there as well. So I connected him with Pastor Paulus today because Pastor Paulus is now in Windhoek today. And so they will connect tomorrow, they're meeting. And let's see how we can connect with these guys together with Pastor Gibson and the guys in the capital city. So they're busy doing some work there and getting information. Pastor Elton, also remember my last conversation, I said to you, Sumaya will send you some information and just contact the same department because I think there might be a language barrier or a race barrier or a barrier that I think you and Pastor Bakau can get past.
Okay.
Okay, even a language barrier. So, Sumaya, I think just make a note of that because then you and whatever you are doing, just send it through to Pastor Elton and Pastor Bakau.
Let's just say, anyone in the Portuguese.
Sorry, what?
Do we have anyone here who can speak Portuguese?
Portuguese.
Yeah, so that we
I'll tell you now. I have it written down. Portuguese. I'm sure it was. I think it was Bishop Brenda and Joel. I'm just checking here.
Yes, Pastor. You had Pastor Joel or Bishop Joel.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Pastor Gibson.
You talked about so here we can manage to export beans, maize, groundnuts. That is what we can export, and then you can bring us back finished products.
I think that's such a brilliant idea. I was somebody today they would not from wasn't.
I don't know whether it's me.
Sorry, what, Pastor Elson?
I was saying I don't know whether
I didn't get that last part. You don't know if it's right?
I was saying I don't know whether it's my when you speak sometimes your voice is
You think it's the mic?
I don't know. Maybe it's my device.
I don't know. The internet's just a bit strange today. I don't know if it's my side, whether it's everybody else that's struggling with their lines, but yeah, I don't know. We're having a bad connection. A quick question. See your hand there, Brother Ronald. Give me a second. Pastor Gibson, just to confirm, bean, maize, ground nuts, you send us the raw product and then you want a finished product. We'll be able to export the finished product back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, then in terms of finished product, what did you finished product?
The network is also breaking.
Yeah, I hear that. But maybe if you can send me on WhatsApp finished product that you think will work in Zambia. A list of finished products.
I've gotten that one. Maybe I can answer that one.
Okay.
Yeah, so when he says finished products, I think I think you over there you can make baked beans, finished product of baked beans, tinned beans. When you bring it this side, we are able to sell it from this side. And then when we talk about ground nuts, we are talking about peanut butter.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you for
And then
clarifying.
when we are talking about maize, we are talking about cornflakes. That side, I think it's very easy for you people to make cornflakes. And then when you bring it to this side, we are able to do business here.
And what about the certification? What about the government regulation? Would you guys be able to do that, or would we have to do it?
We have to do it from this side, and then you also do your part that side.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll check up on that from our side, and then because if we're bringing it into your country, even though we have product of origin, it's going to say South Africa, but we still need to probably get it approved by the SABS or something on our side. But just have a look at how you guys can do it on your side, and what's the cost there, or if it's something that is free. So, but thanks for clarifying that. What about stuff like steel? The line is quite bad, Brother Ronel.
Oh yes, Pastor. I'm hearing everyone else clear except Pastor Gibson. It's definitely on his side. Yeah, I think you can add value to their raw products, especially like the beans, as you said, baked beans. You could add the tomato to spice because you have lots of that on this side. And depending on the type of peanuts they're able to provide, you can definitely do the butters. And then you can probably do the snack packets. Like you have lots of dairy here. So you can do the yogurts, coated peanuts, and chocolate coated peanuts, etc. I don't know what the market is like for the maize chips, or maybe just like the maize cornflakes, and like what they have for like Future Life, something similar to that. But yeah, if they can give us feedback on their Zambia market, what are the favorites there? You know what you're going to compete with to prepare on this side. Thanks.
Thanks, Brother Ronel. Yeah, I think we got something to start with when it comes to Zambia. Pastor Gibson seemed pretty clear about that. And I think even when it comes to ground nuts and maize, I think we can also just pull that in from Mozambique. It's just here on our border, So I think Pastor Elson, something we can also make a note of. I spoke to somebody today, they were talking about cashew nuts, pistachios, stuff like that. So macadamias, I think that is a major market as well. So I think we could look into that. Also, okay, Pastor Bakau's not here, Cleo's not here. Precious, anything on your side? I know you've been unwell, but anything on your side that, in terms of products that you think would be of interest in Zimbabwe that we can bring across, or maybe stuff that you think we could take across from South Africa? What are your thoughts?
Nothing yet, Pastor Ash. I think now that I'm getting better, then I'll start working on it. I'll find out, then I'll give you that information, maybe in the next meeting.
Okay. Thanks, Precious. Thank you. I'm just looking at our list that we did on our first one. We've got steel, copper, iron ore, tin ore. That was Pastor Jorez, and I think Brian. Anything on your side? Language.
Greetings, everyone.
And go ahead, Brian.
Yes. In terms of there's different type of product that will be in need in the DRC, depending if we talk in terms of food product or we're talking in terms of mineral or steel product on different type of products. But when it comes to food, you know, maize meal is high consumption of the people love making a lot of the pap in the DRC. So the maize meal will do well, rice, the cooking oil, sugar, flour, that will do. But also even the construction items like your cement, your roofing materials, steel, when it comes to import export, painting, plumbing stuff can also do quite well. Some PVC pipe, tiles, there's still a very good market for that. Even though some of those things comes from China, because some of the business people will import directly from China to DRC. But what just I need to do is to check the market. If we can compare in terms of logistic, if we're taking things from South Africa directly to Congo, and maybe people that are importing from China, I believe we should still be able to come under the market price. I wanted to also check with a few of my connects in the border here by Kasumbalesa to facilitate us to get few things inside the country so that it's going to be easy. Because sometimes you might get things on a good price, but when it comes to get them in the country, that's where you get a little bit of a headache, especially if it's big machineries, then you will find yourself in trouble there. But yeah, even some vehicle parts, because there's also another friend of mine that is in DRC now. He was suggesting actually to create a vehicle parts shop where you sell different parts, or like your tires, your oils, your brakes, and some of those things also can work imported from SA to DRC. Yeah. Yeah, that's just to say few. Even the lotion, the soap, we can do well. Yeah, some cleaning stuff also from SA to that side will do well. I believe for the next meeting, I'll maybe have price comparison so that we can compare between what is that side and what is here, and maybe how we can compare the cost. If we can still break even in terms of profit, if we'll have to get those products that side. And if there is any regulation in terms of getting the product in the country, and does it demand any kind of paperwork, like your cosmetic products, yeah, that's pretty much it for now. But when it comes to businesses, also we can do logistics, where there is a couple of LOI that we can do work to do transportation of goods. There's actually one that is on the table right now of trucks to take items from South Africa to DRC and from DRC to here. So let me just open it so I can go through it properly. Sounds true. Yeah, so there is LOI for Lubumbashi to South Africa. I think the commodity that will be transported from DRC to here will be your copper, copper cathode, copper concentrated, cobalt, zinc. Then the return trip will be your sapphire, breakfast flow, steel products, steel coiled, and oil drums. You see, some of these products that this particular company will need logistic for. They're getting this product from South Africa to Congo. It means that these products are in demand that we can also individually bring to Congo and sell. Yeah, but I will try to still get somebody to scout the market properly to get more product in high demand. If we get them in Congo, they can easily be sold. Yeah. So I think.
Thanks, Brian. Also, if you guys know anybody that does logistics going towards DRC, then we have a contract for that. So far, we've contacted at least about 8 transporting companies here that we know, and everybody's a bit skeptical to do a DRC load. But if you are out of South Africa and if you know of logistic companies that are willing to do DRC, please let us know. If you want to have a look at that letter of intent, we can forward it. Brian can forward it to you, and you can discuss stuff there. Also, whilst trying to find a transporter for the DRC load, I found out that we got Iveco panel vans that go daily to Botswana and Namibia. So if we need to move stuff to Botswana and Namibia, we can do it on a daily basis, right? The guys are based in Durban, Cape Town, and Johannesburg. So we would be able to move stuff directly from South Africa on a daily basis. They basically do express goods. So that is something that keep in mind as you ask questions. That's something that we have full control of. Precious, go ahead.
Thank you, Pastor Ash. I was just thinking for exporting to Zim, motor vehicle spare parts and anything solar panel, the inverters and the batteries. Then I'll do my research with the other products.
Okay, making a list of that here. So motor vehicle spares, we know that will work in DRC as well. We got it in Zimbabwe, and then inverters, panels, solar panels, and batteries for Zimbabwe. I think also that will also work in Malawi, hey? From what I've been checking online, there's also a need for solar panels, batteries, and inverters in Malawi. They're actually having a conference, an expo at the moment. Whose hand is that? Sumaya, your hand. Go ahead.
Greetings, everybody. My question is for Pastor Gibson and family. With regards to the products that you want be packaged here in South Africa or manufactured here, if you are supplying us a raw material, I just want to get an understanding, why can't it be done there? That's my first question. The second question is, the second thing is, with regards to the certification. So if it's going to Zambia, then each product requires a certification. So it depends. Now, like, for example, if we're looking at peanut butter, then they have to have the Bureau of Standards. And there is also compulsory standards compliance, and then also the ZCSA port into Zambia. Okay, so if you could just clarify just why we can't have it manufactured there and packaged there, then bringing the raw materials here into South Africa, and then manufacturing here.
Zacchaeus, do you want to answer that?
Okay. Those are good questions. I think my answer will be straightforward. Number one, first of all, the question was, what can we bring to South Africa? So those are the things that we can be able to bring to South Africa, so that you have what you can do you yourselves there, and then from the same things you are able to bring us some things. And then the other thing, why packaging them in South Africa, I was looking at the value. The things that will come from that side cannot have the same value on the market as the things that we have here.
Okay, I understand. So what you are saying as well is, if we have the product readily available here, for example, the peanut butter. If we have peanut butter readily available here, you have an outlet for that.
That's it.
Okay, all right. Now I'm with you. Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's it. That's the idea.
Okay, all right. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think also Pastor Zacchaeus got a point there, because the value changes in terms of product of and origin, but we can also see that there is a market for these products going into Zambia. And then also, I think we could establish a brand, and depending on the supply, maybe Pastor Zacchaeus, you and Pastor Gibson can just see in terms of supply, what can we supply? In terms of metric tons, how many metric tons can you source for us? So in terms of, are we looking at a 20-foot container? What quantities are you able to supply? So give us that, and then let us look at what we can give you from here. So in terms of your maize, your beans, your groundnuts, what is your supply? I mean, today I spoke to Bakau. I said to him, listen, you said we've got A grade meat. What meat is it? What is our supply like? Do we have 1 cow? Do we have 30 cows? Do we have 500 cows? And what's the plan? And then he said exactly the same thing. They're sitting with 550 cows, about 200 of that is breeding pairs and all sorts of stuff. So at least if we know exactly what we have in our hand, we know how to plan, right? So Pastor Zacchaeus, you're going to give us your capacity to supply us in South Africa, and then we will look at the paperwork as to border crossing, customs, whatever taxes, etc., that needs to be paid. And then the other thing that I need you to find out for us is, are there any trucking logistic firms that are in Zambia that is currently doing loads to South Africa? And do you have loads coming from South Africa to Zambia in terms of a reliable trucking company? Right, so that is the two things. Transportation is very important for us. So you're going to find that information out for us and give us feedback. And then we will do the same on our side in terms of what is our capacity to supply in Zambia. Right. Sumaya, you're fine with that?
Yes, I'm good with that.
Okay, perfect. Brother Ronell, your hand is up. Pastor Gibson, I don't know if that's an old hand, but you can go ahead, Brother Ronell, and then we can go to Pastor Gibson if that's a new hand.
Oh, yes, Pastor. Thanks. Yeah, following up with what Pastor Gibson said there, it would be good to get raw materials. But I was just thinking, how competitive is it to move raw materials from there to here? Yes, you can add value to the product. You can change the end product that you want to put back on the market. But then you need to know how competitive you can be by the time you do quality control testing, food and drug conformance, labeling, packaging, and then truck it back there. All again, your customs charges, your fuel charges, etc., shipping charges. So I'm liking what brother Brian says there. There's a big market there in the Congo. Yes, we see what is really competitive, and I think out of all of this, where you can make a brand, you make a brand and set that brand on that market over there. But even if it's not too competitive to return it to Zambia, maybe another product may be competitive to return to Zambia, and then what raw material is processed here, send that to the Congo. Now, that's just my idea, because they have all this food and drugs, and as Sumia was saying there, that food standards bureau that you need to be in compliance with, and all these things have their costs, lab testing, etc., labeling, customs charges, So I'm just thinking by the time we look at the overheads associated with bringing a product to this side, sending it back finished, where's the margin for profit really? We need to work that out. Versus where we
I
have a
hear
need
you.
for supply, we can process the additional supply and send it to the other markets.
Yeah, because my thought process with that is, if we can supply the raw materials to our existing manufacturers in South Africa and tell them to give us our own brand, those OEMs is not difficult to do. Even if we take that, get it processed in another country, for example, India or China, and still bring it back in as product of origin, because that's where the raw materials are from. These guys will be able to do it. So to do a brand is not a big thing, but we can actually find the guys that are already looking for supply. We don't have to set up a whole company ourselves. We literally just give them a supply of maize, or give them a supply of ground nuts, and tell them to do it in their existing thing. So it's one business bringing it in, and then now, what is your product? What is your pricing? Because we want it for export, and work from that instead of having to do that. So I think it still boils down to what are the numbers. So Pastor Zacchaeus, I think that's another thing. Maybe give us a price list of what these products are currently going at in your country. We'll look at the South African retail pricing, and then we'll go in for manufacturing and wholesale pricing and look at the feasibility there, because ultimately it still boils down to what is your capacity to supply. If you can only supply one container a week or one container a month, then we would have to sell that to one of the manufacturers here, instead of looking at how can we manufacture. Unless, of course, we're using a government manufacturing grant or a product, we can look at that. But not that there's a shortage of that. There's plenty of manufacturing grants that we can look at. But the question is, if we're going to commit to that, then we'll have to do more than just one product. So it's still capacity to supply. Pastor Zacchaeus, how much can you give us? And then what is the competition? Very important. The pricing is very important, because you are going to be an importer, we're going to be an exporter on the side, and is it going to be feasible for your company? That's pretty much where we look. What Brother Ronald is saying. How profitable is it? Let's work on profitability, and then I'll give you a formula that you can work on. Put in your figures in there and let it calculate at least a pricing, a wholesale price for us. But let's see capacity to supply and competition. We need to work on the figures. It's a great product. I love the idea. I think it's brilliant. Why nobody thought about it, I don't know. But let's look at the feasibility. Is it profitable? Okay, is it going to be sustainable for us to do? Either way, as Brother Ronald said, bring it here and redistribute to another country, or is it going to be feasible to bring it back into Zambia? Or what can we supply to Zambia that's already finished? So it still boils down to capacity to supply and your pricing. And if we do the feasibility and it works out, great. Brother Ronald, go ahead.
Yes, Pastor. Yeah. One of those companies you had in your catalog collection listing of companies, there's one that does different processing, and I think they can do that. They do the macadamia butters, so they can definitely do normal peanut butter. Also, from what Brother Brian was saying there, each country you have different requirements for compliance. And when you produce a complete product, you may have a little more controls in. I mean, it's not like it's a hazardous product, so it's definitely going to get going to be tested and pass, get a certificate of acceptance, whatever. But I'm just thinking, like I was looking at the cosmetics products, the amarula oil, the rooibos leaves, they infuse different things with the different base oils for whether it's hand, face, body. Part of this, we need to do as much manufacturing process, added value, and put that on the market to sell. But then as well, we do have the business in a box aspect where sending just the base ingredients in bulk can be less of a hassle. And then you have a center, whether it's in Zambia and Congo, wherever, where they're going to manufacture, put together these products and package it and put that out as their own business too. So I'm thinking certain things, there are lots of turnkey processing factories here to manufacture the peanut butter, the maize, put it into cornflakes, cereals, whatever. We do that brand, we sell that brand. And then where you need be, if you want to get a peanut butter milling machine from India or China, whatever, we can look at that later and put that in a different area. And they can generate their own small business there too, because part of it is that business in a box too, I'm just thinking.
Amen. Amen. Thanks for that, Brother Ronel. I see everybody's hands are up here. I've just checked online, and I think Pastor Zacchaeus is actually quite on the money here. In 2025-2026, Zambia recorded a massive surplus of maize. The production reached a record of nearly 4.94 million metric tons, and leaving the country with a surplus of 1.4 million metric tons above its national requirement. And so the government of Zambia, the Zambian cabinet, through the agriculture minister, has approved the export of over 500,000 tons of surplus maize. And the government is actively encouraging this to increase foreign exchange and earnings to stabilize the local economy. So that is supported by government. And then, of course, in South Africa, we are facing a maize deficit due to drought, meaning that we here at our regional partners will be highly receptive to this Zambian raw imports that we're talking about. And so Zambia's projected commercial maize exports are so vast that they exceed Zimbabwe's entire national harvest for a season. So I think that on that maize, I think we are Pastor Zacchaeus and Pastor Gibson are on the money there. And then the ground nuts and beans, there's ample supply there, and there is a market in South Africa for that, although it's what it says, it cautions that the pricing, it's margin sensitive, so you got to have careful pricing with regard to this. And what is the other thing it's saying here? Despite its massive raw agriculture input, the manufacturing sector in Zambia only contributes to about 8 to 10% of the national GDP. And so it creates a huge import substitution. So that's what Pastor Zacchaeus is saying. Importing these things is massive because they have a very, very small manufacturing base. So even to set up a manufacturing or processing plant, there would be a good idea. And then Zambia is reliant on South African processed agricultural goods, and Zambia imported preserved ground nuts and their byproducts in 2022 in massive quantities. So we've got an import duty on raw ground nuts coming in of 10%. We impose that as an import duty, and we've got a 20% import duty on the finished product from our local manufacturers. Right, so that is just to say, listen, Zambia would be able to supply. There's no problems with their supply, and South Africa has capacity to purchase. Yeah, setting up a plant there, I think it would be profitable if at some point we could do a partnership with Zambia and South Africa. to create a processing of these raw materials in the country, because I think if we can set something like that up, it would contribute to that. And there's no competition when it comes to that. It needs to literally be backed by government. And I think if Pastor Zacchaeus and are keen, they could literally go to government and say, listen, this is what we want to do. We partnered with somebody in South Africa, and this is the plan. And I think you guys would be able to arrange that from your government, and we'll be able to do exactly the same thing on our side. So just to give everybody some background information quickly, I just checked that up online now. I've got Sumayya's hand up. Sumayya, you can go, and then after that, Brother Ronel. Pastor Gibson, new hand, old hand? Okay, I think Pastor Gibson, that's an old hand maybe. But go ahead, Sumayya. Well, Pastor Gibson, if he wants to talk, he can just unmute and then we'll give him a chance.
Okay, I'm really liking the idea with the nuts and the maize. Because I think throughout Africa, we have those raw materials somewhat readily available. But on the other hand, we have manufacturers here in SA. I'm just using this as an example, maize meal, which is consumed throughout Africa. Peanut butter is throughout Africa. The nut oil, it's widely used in Africa. And so my thoughts are, if we could actually get in contact with the manufacturers that's here, and we use a portion of their plant to manufacture and label for us, so that we can supply to the other countries in Africa. So, like Pastor Elson, if they can find avenues for these products that we manufacture and package here in South Africa with our label.
If I can quickly interject there, Sumayya, I think that's a great idea, but I think let us get our capacity to supply before we do anything, because we don't know what capacity we have to supply those products. So good idea, but I think let's make a note of it. What is our capacity to supply? If we're supplying peanut butter, how much are we able to do? Who's open to say, okay, here's the raw material. We want you to be part of the supply chain that we're involved in, because it's easy to create a supply chain. We contact the guys, give them the recipe, give them the products, and let them manufacture. So I think let's check for South Africa as well with what Sumayya said. Let us get our capacity to supply. What can we supply? What quantity can we supply? What grade can we supply? What certification can we put up for Zambia, for DRC, Namibia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe, right? Mozambique as well. So good points there, but I think let's work on our capacity to supply as well, Sumayya. We need to contact these guys. What say you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm just looking at the idea is there, and then we don't have to be supplying to all the countries at once. It would be based on our initial supplies, what is available, what is our capacity, which I agree with you. I'm just maybe that's the route we should be going, is and so it's the peanut butter, it is the maize, And then I think what would also do very well is the solar power, low cost solar power.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll send out a link to our solar power page. We've been doing that from 2011. We've exhibited at Gallagher Estate, at Santon Convention Center. We won Best Stand there. Low cost solar power DIY kits. It's called LED Solar. It's on Facebook. I'll send you the link of my page. You can check it out. And that will give you an idea as to the low cost. I mean, of course, the pricing is a lot cheaper now than it was in 2011, but it'll give you an idea as to the type of products that we would be able to supply if low cost power is needed. Right. Of course, they would have been, I would have thought that they would be like way more advanced stuff, but I think what we're doing in 2011 is still in the market at the moment. So I think we could still do something there. So I'll send you the link on that. Yes, definitely solar power. Also, Precious said that as well, Sumaya. So something, our capacity to supply. I was speaking to Brother Ronell earlier as well in the week about solar panels. So it's something that I don't know, Pastor Zacchaeus, Brian, Precious, about importing solar panels from South Africa, locally manufactured. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. If it's something that you'd be able to take across into different African countries, but something to think about as well. And then, of course, what are the competitors doing? Who are we competing with? We send a container of solar panels or a container of peanut butter to Pastor Gibson. How long is he going to sit with it? Would he be able to distribute it? What's the plan to turn that money? Because for as long as we're sitting with stock, that means our money is tied up in stock. We need to be able to secure buyers and say, okay, this container we're going to clear in a month. This container is cleared before it even arrives. Okay, so those are things to think about when you are doing import and export. So expand your mind and start to network with the people in your community that is working with that. Anything else, Samir?
I'm good for now. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks, Samir. Brother Ronell, your hand is up, and then I see Brian's hand is up as well. So Brother Ronell can go first, and then Brian, you can go after that.
Thanks, Pastor. Yeah, I see where Sumaya is going there, and when Pastor Gibson and Brother Brian they get their market surveys done, and we know what kind of demand there is for consumption on those sides, where there's a deficit for supply of a particular commodity or finished product. We know what's available, what market shares available in the market that can be sucked up. Because as you say, you don't want to be holding stock for too long, more than a month or 2 months, because that's money tied up there. But I think ultimately we have a good chance to get into branding, own products branded, and these seem like Kelly and their turnkey food processing plants that do intakes of raw materials for private contract to do a good for someone, produce a good for someone from A to Z. We get some kind of pilot production agreement with them, do the first set of supplies back to Zambia or Congo as under a trial production agreement with them, get these batches out. When we see how the market is behaving, well, before that, we'll have data, so we know what to expect from the market. And if we see the trend holds, then we can quickly switch off of that pilot production agreement and go into a full manufacturing agreement for our own brand, And I was just wondering, besides Pastor Bakao with the 500 cows, I think they breed like every 6 months. Huh? So his 500 is going to be, out of that 250, he should have another 125 on top of that 250. So he should be almost doubled up in a year's time. But still, aside from that, South Africa has a surplus of fish meat, Cape Hake, I think it is, and another one. So that's available to get into the fisheries for meat supply. Beside red meat, we can look at the fish, because I think fish might be a value meat there. They don't have a coastal. So I was just thinking along to go with the branding, yeah, that the first set of supplies, whatever you're going to supply raw materials from Zambia, we do that under a pilot production agreement with these turnkey factories. And we can always switch it over to full branding when we know the market stats, which we will know before. It shouldn't take us a week or two to get that. Both for Pastor Gibson and for Brother Brian and how it works.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we'll look into that. Maybe just look into that Cape Hake in terms of what is the capacity to supply, because I know that's heavily regulated from the Western Cape going up to Namibia. They regulate.
Well, the guys doing it. Yeah, remember we discussed this maybe a year ago. They were fishing boats and that kind of thing. And we did look into it, and it is heavily controlled by these guys. But looking at the surplus that's available, because it's selling all to Italy and Spain in Europe. They have a demand.
Okay.
And I don't think Zambia is going to match that demand. We can get out of that surplus. There is a surplus in the country.
Yeah, and at least the landlocked countries, I think fish is a good one. Okay, so
meat.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Pastor Bacal's cows now. We need those cows to multiply, guys.
You need to pray on those cows.
I was thinking for the meat for the cows that the farm in Northern Cape, Pastor Bacal's one with the cows. He said 550 cows. I'm saying, that's not a lot if you're going to supply meat to somebody. But I mean, if you're making biltong, I think that 500 cows, I mean, even 50 cows is more than enough to start some biltong production, So biltong's not a bad one that we can also look at with that. But I'm waiting for him to speak to the guy, the owner of the farm, and ask him what exactly, in terms of grade A meat, how much can he give us as soon as possible, because we need. We don't want to promise people like a container a week, and then we only got 500 cows. That's going to be a problem for us. So keep that in mind. But I think we could definitely do biltong. Brother Brian, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to go back a little bit on what Samaya spoke about in terms of Africa. In terms of capacity to supply, that we should check what is the capacity we have. But also, I wanted us to check on both ends if something would be more feasible to make it manufactured locally or supply it, because it's pointless to supply something that can be made locally, and if it's cheap, we could supply only what, let's say maybe the box or what needs packaging, and then the raw material can be made locally. But also compare just feasibility in terms of China or South Africa. What we don't have to bring from South Africa and is cheaper in China, whether we use China. Also, to double check in terms of border and protocol and agreement and things like that. But because in all these other African countries, China have managed to make also a lot of agreement in terms of access and allowing goods to enter into the country and all of that. If the idea is for us to be able to just do business and make good returns on investment, I think it should be better that we really compare both China, India, and South Africa. Whichever product that can do well in China and to supply to these other countries, whether we use China instead of using South Africa and vice versa in India. And we just keep comparing like that. Same thing applies to the solar panel. How much is it to manufacture it in South Africa and to get it to Congo logistic-wise, and how much will it be if it's bought from China to Congo? For instance, there's some things I wanted to bring from Turkey. It's cheaper to take those items from Turkey to Congo than it is to take them from South Africa from Turkey to South Africa. So, there's all those little things, the regulations, and South Africa have a lot of laws in terms of how things comes here and all those things that they check, which all these other African countries, they don't have those things. So I think when we analyzing the market and analyzing what are the items that we bring into these African countries, we should always also compare to China. If it's peanut butter or whatever, how much if we just take the thing from China to that particular country? We don't have necessarily to say we're taking from South Africa to the country. As long as we can bring a container from China to Zambia, to Zimbabwe, to Congo, if it's feasible, then taking from South Africa to Zambia, or what we do China.
Yeah.
Uh,
I remember, Brian, what we said at the first meeting is that we want to create a network, and if Africa closes its doors to South Africa, then we should still be able to work Namibia to Botswana, Botswana to Malawi. So it does not have to come through South Africa. That is the purpose of the network, of establishing the network, is that if all of Africa is anti-South Africa, and they have valid reason to not want to have anything to do with South Africans because of what's going on here with our anti-immigration debacle at the moment. So we can understand why other countries will be anti-South African, but that is the whole purpose of creating the network, is that it does not have to come to South Africa. It does not have to leave from South Africa. It can leave from any of our centers. If Pastor Zacchaeus has a center there, it can literally move from his center to your center without even touching South African ground, right? So keep that in mind. That is the whole purpose of this diaspora network.
yeah. Because also, one last thing to add, you see, if somebody have been already operating from China to that particular country, and if we have resistance or, competitiveness in terms of price, or just reputation of how people will receive the products because it's from South Africa on the market, that will make it easy for us to sell the items. So I think we must also just maybe smaller items first, test the market and see how people react, and then we can increase from there. But yeah, to just compare.
Yeah. Also, one of the things I think everybody needs to take note of is that when you're doing import and export, before a container leaves South Africa, we have a buyer waiting. So no container is going to leave South Africa, DRC, Zambia without a buyer. Right. Import, export, that's how it works. If I'm going to supply, I'm not going to buy a container and hope for a buyer. I already have a buyer. So that's why I'm saying the expectation is as soon as the container lands, it's gone. It's sold. That's how the import export business works. That's why those LCs work the way that they do. That's why those financial instruments are set like that. As soon as it arrives and it's cleared in the port, immediately funds are moved. So it's important that when you are looking at it, that yes, it's not about us sending a container to your country. It's about, do you have a buyer? Because if you don't have a buyer, no container is going there. So we already have the buyers that have given us the financial guarantee that they can buy. If Pastor Gibson is saying, listen, Pastor Ash, half of the shipment is mine, I'm going to distribute here, and the rest I have another buyer, then we've got the banks doing the clearances, and the shipment is gone. Import and export businesses, no container leaves if there's no buyer. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, we might have a problem. I think some of the men of God here from all these other African countries will agree with me. I understand bank-to-bank transaction work very good in South Africa because the regulation banks has already designed well for such reception. But from a little bit knowledge I have in terms of business, how people do it in Congo and some of the African countries, so the particular person will go to China himself, purchase the good, bring his container, and then he supplies from people. So no, but if you want to do like LCs and do bank guarantees and send paperwork, or let's for instance, we need bank guarantees here, it might be a problem. I think the first test you need to do once you've landed, you come with a first container, you get few of the people there, few of the people that can take bulk, and then they're happy with the product to take the first portion. Maybe it can even be from the time you have done business with them once, they have trusted you, they like the product, you can keep doing business with them. It's cash on delivery, CODs. Once you're there, they give you all the money and like that.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
hear you. I hear you. But part of the customs and crossing border, you need paperwork, and these things here is part of the process when you are when it's crossing borders. That's the one thing. And then the other thing is, in the past, what we've done is the buyer came into South Africa, inspected the shipment, we took it right to the border. From the border, their transport collected. They did their payments in South Africa, whether it was cash or whatever. Payment was done in South Africa. They took the shipment and went. If we're going to have problems with finances, the person rather be in the country. We do the transaction cash in front of us. Here's the shipment. Here it is. Where's your truck? You arrange your transport and off you go. That for us, I feel it's the safest way for like Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique, those countries. It's very easy to do, and that is just the safest way for everybody. But generally, when it's working with import export, we want to have the buyers already sorted. The shipment must, nobody is going to shell out one container load worth of stock without a buyer. It doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make business sense. I think Pastor Jores entered the meeting. Pastor Jores, are you here? Oh, yes. Hi, Pastor Jores, how are you?
Hi, Ma, how are you? Greetings,
I'm good.
everyone. Sorry, I'm so late today. I was just catch up on driving from Potchefstroom.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Good to have you here. We're basically just talking about the different products that is needed from different countries. I will send you the minutes of the meeting so you have an idea. We've got some good products that came through, and I think you'll be quite interested to see what is happening. So we're just going through Zambia at the moment, and Brother Brian spoke about some stuff for the DRC, but that's pretty much where we're at the meeting at the moment, in the meeting at the moment.
Perfect. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, who else? Whose hands? Pastor Zacchaeus, are you happy with that? Are you good with that information?
I'm following what I'm hearing. So for us this side, I think what we'll do is we'll first of all just do like you have instructed, and then we'll get back to you. And then I believe that from there, that's when we can be able to see our way forward.
Yeah, and I think for you, the main point to start is going to be with your government, because they've already set this in motion. They are open to this idea, and they've got an allocation for export, and South Africa needs that allocation. So I think that is something that's a good point for you to start at.
Okay, that one.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Pastor Zacchaeus. And then I will send you a copy of the NCND so that whatever information you are sharing with us, it's confidential and nobody's going to go and do their own thing with whatever information is discussed in the meeting, right? So I'll send that to you. Get your dad to send me your phone numbers so we can put you on WhatsApp and forward that documents to you. Samia, I see your hand there. You can go ahead. Thanks, Pastor Zacchaeus.
Okay, so I have to agree that, when we started this meeting, it was started when we saw that majority of the undocumented were left destitute. And obviously when they went back home, there is no way for them to have any income or a place or etc. So whilst we are doing business, let's not forget what was our initial, to create jobs, and also the ministry for those people that left here that were are now left destitute. If we have a product, yes, it's very easy to get stuff from India and China, but at the same time, if we are getting things from China, etc., I would think let's look at a raw material. Like, for example, yes, it is true, solar products are very cheap in China, but if we get it separated, it would come in even more cheaper, and we can employ people in Congo or Malawi to put it together and get it to our supplier with our labels, etc. Because we want to create jobs. So if we need to make contact with your government, where they give us a mandate or something to say that we are the suppliers for so many percent power, or the peanut butter or maize, because China will supply us with anything. But we want, ultimately, our initial start of the meeting was in Africa and how we can help each other out, build Africa.
Go ahead. Thanks, Sumaya. Brother Ronel, go ahead.
Yes, but yeah, I agree with Sumaya there. That's what I was saying earlier. We have the benefit of trying to find these people. We were discussing this just last night, Sumaya, about trying to make contact with a list of these people who've been deported. And yeah, there'll be some trials to make contact with these exact people as we try again with the, I think it was the immigrant and deportees section. We try and find names. Also, we want to look at with the churches on the other sides, how they can pinpoint, but especially like with Pastor Zacchaeus, when himself or Pastor Elson, they go to the ministers there, Minister of Agriculture, whoever it be, that it's part of an incentive that in doing this business, we're accommodating those who've been deported to help bring relief to them. And this is why I was saying, like, instead of building some products from this side completely and then having to deal with the food and drugs and the compliance, etc., send the raw materials across where things can just be crafted by hand, like cosmetics. It's just a matter of mixing and adding and shaking and packaging. You can provide the business in a box there. And when you get to the point in shared manufacturing, then you can probably get into sales and distribution, where they get folks into whether warehousing, packaging at groceries, retailers, people who are doing a shelving, that kind of thing. And you can put a plan forward with when they go to these government entities to talk to them about what we want to do. You should have a plan that includes people who've been returned home, had to be repatriated, and need jobs. So I think if we coin them together when we go forward with a proposal, they should be in part of the proposal with the human resource factor. Thanks.
Thanks, Brother Ronel. Yeah, absolutely, because I've seen that the anti-immigration, the people that are still being processed, they're still hanging out on the streets, they're camping outside. So we need to be able to, I think that's something we have to be able to try and locate them. Everybody needs to at least get one person that went across into any of the African nations that was either self-deported or forced to deport, and get their contact details, at least get us a number, because I'm sure that they belong to a WhatsApp group or a network that we can communicate with them and tell them, hey guys, listen, there's something that is happening and we can help you out. So I think that is very important. And then the other point, Brian mentioned sugar. There is a need for sugar in the DRC. Brother Ronel, just today you were talking to me about an allocation for sugar. So I don't know if that's something that you want to talk about, or Brian?
Sure, Pastor.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to ask again that, and I don't know what's the consensus with everyone. We have NDAs. I know I signed the NDA and I sent my NDA completed, and I just want to encourage everybody to look into the NDAs, print it off, sign the final page, initial the other pages, and send them in, please. We have other things to discuss, but I have a direct connection to a guy who has a mandate with Brazilian sugar manufacturer producer. And we can get 5 to 10 containers a month. I have the contracts, what's involved in it, and we can supply sugar. We can work out the pricing, etc. So there is lots of sugar available to take out of Brazil, where we can find buyers on the continent. We can work that out. And we have other things to work out too. We can work out all the details together, but I would really like to know that everyone has worked out their NDAs. Thanks, Pastor.
Thank you for that, Brother Ronel. Yeah, I think that's important. I'll send the final NCNDA. Let's get that signed because we have some products that are ready to go. Brian already spoke about the logistics contract that we have that is ready to go. We've got sugar allocation that is ready to go. And then also Brother Ronel has arranged in Abu Dhabi for a petrol allocation to be put on a list. It will not be available immediately, but in the next 6 to 9 months, that allocation will be available. And so before we release any of that information to everybody, can we please get our NCNDAs signed and sent through to us? Can we have a consensus that it can be done at least by tomorrow afternoon, like about 4 p.m. If everybody can sign the final NCNDAs, send it through to us so we can start sending out what we already have. Like these are confirmed. Sugar, petrol, the logistics contract, right? A 12-month logistics contract, which we have. So we need that NCNDAs to be filled in. Everybody in agreement with that? Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Pastor Elson. Thank you, Precious. Pastor Gibson. Thanks, Sister Nisha. Thanks, Pastor Jorez. Thanks, Pastor Zaki. So we're all in consensus here. Right. So as we're speaking, you know that these are actual things that we have. We are ready to go. The trucking contract, the guys told us Friday they could give us the first load. They're looking at least 5 to 10 trucks, right? There's a logistics company in Midrand that you can confirm this entire thing with. So it is an existing contract, and the logistic guys are not going to go and purchase new trucks for 12 months. They want to work with people that already have trucks. So they're looking at 5 to 10 trucks that people are willing to put together so that they don't have to buy the truck. So they're just expanding their fleet. That is available early next week. You could, if you have a logistics company, you would be able to get in on that one. And then we have petrol, an allocation of petrol coming out of Abu Dhabi, and we've got an allocation of sugar that is coming out of Brazil. Go ahead, Brother Ronel.
Yes, Pastor, as Brother Brian is here. I just want to confirm with him, for moving these types of ores, Brother Brian, they're looking at side tippers, right? 34 ton to 45 ton. So if anyone has contact when they go looking, they know specifically the type of trucks they're looking for. I believe they're side tippers, 34 ton with extensions to 45 ton baskets on them.
Actually, they're looking for super links, right?
Yeah, but the Superlink, how they plan to offload them? They plant in from the side, or they do top lift?
Okay.
I am leaning on the side that they are side tippers. I just
Okay.
wanted Brother Brian to see if he could confirm. So anyone who's looking around, they know specifically what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Yes, they're linked, but I believe they decant sideways.
Okay. Yeah. Brother Brian, some clarity on that one for Brother Ronell.
Yes, they're looking for such. Let me again go on the LOI. It's all well detailed. Yes, they're looking for Superlink. Superlink.
Take the third exit onto Millennium Way.
Am I audible?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So Superlink's Brother Ronell. I was when Brian phoned them, I also thought it was going to be side tippers or something, but they were specific. They said they wanted these flatbed Superlinks.
Yeah, side tippers normally, they come like in a V shape, and they keep normally if you do like your coal or other things that you need to keep like that, they use side tippers. I think I don't know maybe how because from South Africa to DR, we're not going proper.
Onto Armstrong Avenue West.
Yeah, carrying the return load will be bitumen, sapphire, breakfast flow, steel product, steel coil, and oil drums. So those things normally, I think, in a Superlink they would work better. Yeah, to be carried.
Okay, thanks, Brother Brian. Yeah, I'm just looking it up online here. Because you know how sand decants versus how you want flour. Breakfast meal flour to decant. It's gonna spill. Yeah, but the Superlinks, they do have a configuration where they take side tippers. So they're probably side tippers all the same. Okay, thanks.
Thanks for that feedback there, Brother Brian. Thanks, Brother Ronell. Any other questions, Brother Ronell?
No, Pastor, thanks. Yeah, no, I agree. The initial of this was for that initiative bridge building. But for us to really take control and do it properly, avoid the hiccups, we need to build the structure, build the capital. Then we can really help people better. We just can't do it simple. We can't build it on just trying to take care of the deportees first up, you know. As fast as we can take care of them, we want to, but we also have to build that capital, build that cash flow to then take care of them too and bring them in and do ministry above all. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Brother Ronell. I think we must not lose sight of the fact that if we get a hold of them, then they themselves have intellectual property. They have contacts in their countries that they may be able to use to put together finances to buy something or to start up businesses there. So I think the network is very important because we said we're going to give them Bible school for free. And then we're going to put them onto the network where they can start networking and we could have a base from which to work. And maybe we could have 500 people on the base and only one person that has a business interest. That could work for us. That could work for that nation. So let's keep that in mind and try and get a hold of these guys. That's important stuff. Thanks, Brother Ronell, for that one. But I think once we have the NCMDs, then we could just send out these things to everybody that is here. And you have access, you have the information, you could send it around, just block out the main information from there, and you could just send it around and see what you can do with it. Right, so they wouldn't, there's freedom to move that data around here. Right. So that is the one thing. The other thing that Brother Brian and I, we spoke about, and Brother Ronald this week, is that we have so many people and funders and sponsors in America and across Europe. And everybody here has spoken many times about how there's so much of red tape when it comes to transferring funds for what we need. And so I said that we would actually put up right now, and I will send through that information after the meeting, but to put up 3 crowdfunding campaigns that will be online, and it doesn't matter where the person is in the world, they would be able to fund any one of those campaigns. And so it's, the biggest challenge that we have is moving money around, and we rely solely on banks and large investors or traditional funding institutions in South Africa or maybe in our neighboring countries. But around the world, there are millions of people that are willing to support projects like what we are doing, as long as it is creating genuine impact and it is providing a solution to a real problem. And that is exactly what we have. So crowdfunding is going to allow us to present our vision directly to people who share our values and who want to contribute to a meaningful change in Africa. And so instead of asking one organization for a large amount of money, I mean, we've already done that. We've already submitted whatever paperwork we needed to. But instead of doing that, I think we can always we can get many people across Europe, across America, to contribute smaller amounts, maybe $5,000, $10,000. Smaller ministries are able to do these things. And so when we get enough people to participate, these contributions can fund significant projects. If we're putting up a project in Zambia and we say, listen, we need $100,000 and this is where it's going, we could do a lot with $100,000 with regard to the vision. And so this presents to us an opportunity to reach supporters of this vision, not just in South Africa or in your nation, but in America and in Europe. And we're looking at euros, pounds, and USD. So there's many people in our global African diaspora, faith communities, philanthropists. I mean, even in Africa, we have massive givers here. So we've got philanthropy that goes right from South Africa right up to Egypt, and social impact supporters that are looking for credible initiatives that demonstrate transparency, measurable outcomes, and a sustainable community development. And I think all that we are doing is creating exactly that. And so the key is that people don't usually fund ideas. They fund a well-presented solution to real life problems. Are we giving them a solution to a real life problem in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, in the DRC, in Kenya? I think we are. And so our responsibility is to communicate what exactly, what problem are we solving? And why is it important? Who's going to benefit? And I'm going to give this to you in a Word document, so you have it in front of you, and it'll be part of the minutes for next week's meeting. And then how will that money be used? We've already stated, and what measurable impact can be achieved if we do this. So when people understand the need and they see that we have a realistic plan, they are far more likely to support it as opposed to hold their hands. I mean, a lot of the times we go to the same people asking for funding, same people to do this, to do that, to help with the church vehicle, help with this, help with that. What about just expanding our nets and saying, listen, we've already tried here, let's just throw our nets on the other side and see what happens. So I believe that we already have several initiatives that are well suited for crowdfunding. And we are basically supporting, we mentioned this earlier, we're supporting families that have been displaced by conflict and unrest in South Africa. We have youth skills and development and workforce readiness. This is something we feel passionate about. Entrepreneurship and small business development. This is exactly what we're trying to create here. Agricultural and food security projects. Geez, that is right up our alley. Community education and leadership training. This is what we do. Cross-border trade initiatives that create sustainable employment. So pretty much we have a problem and we have a need, and I think we can put a crowdfunding campaign together. So each of these problems addresses real needs, and we are offering tangible outcomes and solutions that supporters, backers, sponsors, funders can be confident about, and they can understand clearly. So crowdfunding is also going to provide us with benefits that go far beyond the money. It's going to help us to build a global community of supporters, funders, and sponsors. And it's going to increase our awareness, not just in Africa, but in Europe and in America. It's going to validate our projects through public engagement, and it's going to create opportunities for future partnerships. And I think it's going to develop as the funds start to be used. And so in order to have a successful campaign, we need to have a high level of preparation. And that is where I have already pretty much worked out the blueprint for that. I've already sent it through. Brian was here with me in the week. He's got a printed copy. Brother Ronel, Bakau, I think Pastor Elson this morning, I shared it with you. But I will put it in PDF once everything is sorted out, the NCNDs, I'm sending that out to you so you have a clear idea of what we're doing. And so we need compelling stories, a clear budget, transparent reporting, professional videos, strong visuals. So basically what we're saying is in 3 weeks, and that is our deadline, in every location that we are in, we are going to create a community event, a community initiative, whether it is feeding little children, whether it is training youth, whether it is doing something with the elderly in your community. That is going to be your community event. And we are going to be creating a crowdfunding. So for those of you that do not know what crowdfunding or peer funding is, it is where you get people to fund your project. So for example, Bakau is in Northern Cape. He's got land there that he's got available for farming. He's got a half-built community center or a youth center that needs to be completed. And he's dealing with poverty, with an impoverished community. So what is it that he's going to say to a funder? And that is what we're going to document with our videos. So I think it's important. Brian is going to be overseeing that because he's got a media company. And so he's going to be working with all of the leaders that are here, because I know every single leader here has their own media people. And so Brian, he knows what he's doing, and so he's going to speak to you, and maybe you can put your media guys onto Brian so that he can give them a clear idea as to what is needed. If not, you can do that. And so he's going to give you a clear idea of how we're going to be doing this. What else do I have written here? So the crowdfunding is going to be one of our funding or income streams. And it's not our long-term vision, but it is part of our short-term vision. And we are going to combine our strategic partnerships, our grants and business initiative with local fundraising. And so we basically, if a sponsor is looking at our crowdfunding campaign, why should they give us any money? And so I have I think it's a 20-page document, which you will have access to. We're going to do 3 campaigns. The first campaign is about standing with displaced Africans. Then I've got everything written there. What is the campaign goal? What is the funds going to be used for? What is the storytelling? What's the deliverable? What is the interviews? What questions are you going to ask in the interview? Also giving a background. And then the second crowdfunding campaign is going to be about future builders. Our goal to train 1 million young Africans under the age of 35. And so the vision, we are targeting entrepreneurs, AI-ready workers, business leaders, exporters, ethical leaders, etc. So all of that is given to you. You really just need a person that is clued up with your media to be able to put it together, and also just to build on the plan. I'm giving you the skeleton, you can add your content to it. And then your third campaign is our Africa Trade Connect, where we are building import and export hubs. We are creating a network of local businesses. We are targeting manufacturers, farmers, businesses, importers, exporters, investors, diaspora communities, governments, and faith-based communities, together with our youth entrepreneurs. Right, so that's the third campaign. And guys, if somebody is looking at our crowdfunding campaign, maybe they're not into business. But are you into raising up the next generation? We have something for you. What about, okay, I don't know about training up business leaders or the young people, but why are these anti-immigrant protests happening in South Africa? Why are these people being displaced? So we have a campaign for three types of people. And I believe that as we release this into the earth, basically, once we birth it, I think God is going to speak to the right people. God knows exactly who is going to be funding what. And also what we have here is we have the freedom to say, listen, here's a crowdfunding campaign. Once they do the transfer for the money, guess what? That money becomes accessible to our group at the end of that duration for that campaign, which means we do not have to deal with the banks. We don't have red tape. We just need to have a clear plan and a vision. And that's where you come in. It's because how are we distributing it? How many locations are we saying that we need it in? And what is the need per location? So we'll take feedback about it just now, but I think it's important for you to understand where we're going with this and the goal. What are we trying to achieve? So very important. I will give you all of that, all of our targets here. And then for our media guys, we have the media strategy that is here. So for your media teams, pastors, that will be contacting Brian, I will also give you our media strategy. I've put it together in 3 phases, where it's our pre-launch phase, our live campaign phase, and our finishing off phase. And then I've also put together a 29-day calendar. So every single day, we know exactly what is happening. So that's pretty much where it is. Can we have some feedback? What do you think about that? Do you agree? Do you think it's something that you would like to be part of, and you see it working and you understand the vision about this part of it? Because remember when I started, I said, guys, let's do our 6 months vision. What is our 6-month plan? What is our 12-month plan? And then what is our 3-year and 5-year plan? So this is going to fall into our 6-month plan. Right. Can we have feedback? Can we have comments? If you don't like it, please tell us why. We do not want to be surrounded by yes people. We want to know why it's not going to work. And then why is it going to work? What is your feeling? Do you think we are asking too much in terms of getting the community together? And then when it comes to doing a community initiative, if you need content, if you need material for the young people, for our grade R to grade 12, I have enough material for that. If you want stuff for our young people, I have that we can give you. So it's like literally not even a cost to the ministry or your business. We can supply whatever you need. You probably have to maybe get some juicing or some sandwiches or whatever, but for you to arrange a community initiative. So I'm going to leave the floor open for feedback. Tell me, what do you think? Yes, no, why it will work, why it will not work. Do you think 3 weeks is too far away, or do you think it is a reasonable amount of time to get a community initiative in every one of our locations? So the floor is open. Who would like to go?
Yes,
Go ahead, Pastor Elsa.
Yeah. No, thank you. It is a good idea. I'm in support of it. I just want to ask one question to say, like, in the community, like within a region, how many communities are we targeting? Like I'm in Mpumalanga, the province, and then my region is Nkomazi.
How would you like to represent it? If you were to go before a funder or a sponsor, what would be your number one goal? What can we control? Because we are going to be responsible. We're going to be stewarding somebody else's money, and we are saying that this is what we want to do. So what is our reach? How far can you reach in that area?
What I was actually trying to find out is that you'll find that I might reach 10 communities, but the resources are only available for 5 communities.
That's fine. That's fine. So we will work with what we can do. So if you can reach 10 communities, we're going to say, listen, this is what is needed for 10 communities. This is our goal, and work from there. So we could probably build a marketing campaign around that. But I hear you. But we'll have to work with what comes in. And then we'll also have like, okay, which is your favorite project? Would you like to go to that or something along those lines? But I think we should start somewhere. Let's start with one community where you're based at the moment, and then if it goes according to plan, we could reach 10 communities. What is the need? Are we meeting the are we answering a problem, a community problem? Are we a solution? And I think that's what people, before they start giving, they're going to find out, listen, is this a solution to a real problem? So I think that's the most important thing. What is the story for Mpumalanga? What do you want to do? And when I send you this, the plan, you'll see the questions that are here. And as you go through, I think you'll be able to see how far you want to go or where you want to go with it. Anything else, Pastor Elson?
No,
Wayland.
Because I think
so you
where
agree with
I want to do that, within our region, the booming, but I've noticed that young people are not involved in that. So I can be talking to the chiefs for the piece of land, and then we can gather young people and start training them on agricultural issues, whether it's crop or meat and all that. So they can produce, for an example, in Mozambique, for so many years they were not eating pork, because it was a Muslim country. Now that they have tasted pork is in demand. So we can have a youth that is producing pork, youth that is producing eggs, and then youth that is producing vegetables and all that.
Okay, so young people, entrepreneurship and agriculture. Yeah, I think that's something that could work. So thanks for that information there. We didn't even know that. Okay. I think agriculture is definitely something that we want to get into, and it's listed in our campaign plan that we have here. So everyone will have it in a Word document, so you can edit it as you need. And then, Brother Brian, you will speak to all of our pastors and see who has a media person, or if they're going to meet with us, with their media people. So pastors, whoever's going to be doing your recording and stuff like that, you can see how you want to do it. It's up to you. But Brian, the reason I'm saying Brian is going to oversee it is because as your videos come in, he's going to create the story around it. So he'll give you some ideas. We've got it on here, but you can build on it. We can brainstorm it and start setting up dates for our events. And then he will be editing the videos. And Brian, you want to go ahead and speak? Because I'm not a media person. Please, Brian. Your mic is muted. Okay, I think Brian is having a reception problem, but Brian is the person that you'll be sending your videos to, and he'll be putting it together. I think the most important thing is to secure a date and then a vision. What are we trying to do in terms of the 3 campaigns, right? And I think most of it is, yeah. So everything is here, and even for media, I've got I think it's 14 pages here where your media guy, once you see it, it's they'll know what to do. And then the other thing that I think is very important when it comes to recording, and I went online just to see the legality of it is that if we're going to be recording young people, if they're under 18, we need to have their consent, right? It's very important. So I have done a Word document where at your event, if there's anybody that is going to be recorded or they're going to be interviewed, please make sure that they sign that consent form, because everything is fine now. In 2 years or 3 years, they see their video online, they want to come and ask for all sorts of financial backing, they need money for it or whatever it is, or their parents come to you and say, listen, why did you put my child up there? We're going to sue you, etc. So I have already drafted that Word document, so you can just print it, and for as long as you have minors in there, just make sure that their parents sign it. And then if you're doing a general shot of a group of people in a crowd, as long as you're not focusing on one particular child, just make sure that you have notices. And even for the notices, I have it written down. You basically just take it and print it and stick it up in your venue so that parents and everybody around there understands this. And then also just another point of reference is that if people do not want to be recorded or they do not want their faces to be on any videos, maybe just have a place where your camera people or your media people have a red sticker, and you put that red sticker on the person so that when you're recording, you understand that that person shouldn't be in the video, right? There's a lot of regulation in South Africa regarding this. We do not want to at any point get involved with that particular thing. And then also when it comes to all the social media platforms, they have certain rules about it. Parents would be able to just pull it off, or they could shut your accounts down. So we do not want any of that, because this is going online. So we want to make sure that we are covered on every side. So in the pack that I'm sending through to you, you have the notice that you're going to put in your church if you're going to be recording, and then you are all at the event, and then you are also going to have a form that you're going to make people sign. If a young person is there, you got to get their guardian or their parent to sign it and say, okay, I do acknowledge, and this person is going to be recorded. And then of course, for the younger ones, if their faces are there, we're going to have to blur that out. So keep that in mind as we put these things together. We want to do it right the first time. Our planning is very, very important. I know it's the third meeting that we're having. It may seem like it's taking a long time, but I think these foundational things needs to be done. And going forward, no matter what we're recording, no matter what event we're having, take cognizance of the fact that we cannot do certain things, and there are some things that we can do, and our media people, our camera people need to understand this, and they need to constantly be aware of what is happening. Any questions there? Welcome, Pastor Bakau. Nice to see you, Pastor. Okay, any questions? Anybody else? We're still taking feedback here. Precious, what's your thoughts? Mic is muted. Pastor Jorez, your thoughts?
Yes, Mom, I'm listening. And then, I have to go to the early meeting that you had, and then after that I can come back to you so that I might catch up. But I have an ideas of everything that is happening, and then I can also fill up and then give my feedback too.
Okay, no problem. But my question is regarding the crowdfunding campaign. Do you think it's a good idea, bad idea, going to work, not going to work? What's your thoughts?
On the crowdfunding,
yes.
On my side, I think is a good idea, but at the same time, we have to mention some challenges, because with the crowd funding campaign, sometimes it will never give we cannot expect the 100% or the 50% of it. No matter how the form that we can put in place, because remember, is like you you're making a pledge in the church and all that. So with experience, we have come across that many people can say, "Oh, we'll do this and I can do," and then they won't give the 100% of what they have pledged for. So if we have to do the funding, the crowdfunding, it can be positively, but it won't be 100%. Honestly, on my side.
Okay. Thanks for bringing that up, Pastor Joris. So the crowdfunding is not going to be you asking anybody in the church for money. Okay. It is us that will be asking people in Europe and America for the money. We need you to do an event, a community event or a church event where you show us the need in your community or in your ministry for that fund. So you are not asking your people for any money.
I get it.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't have to ask them. You're just going to do something for your community. You're going to do either a youth course or you're going to do a Sunday school thing. You're going to give the kids some sandwiches. You're going to create a need. You're going to do a video and say, listen, this is the impact that we have in our community. And this is the need that we are trying to meet. And so we're not asking for any of the churches to ask their people for money. We're not asking you for money. Right. But we'll explain that to you further. But you are not going to ask your people for money. You're not asking them for any pledges. You're not asking them to do anything financially.
Thank you so much. I didn't see that one because they've got you in the middle.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I say sorry for that because I didn't get you from the beginning, so I did catch only on the middle. That's why I just come up with the idea. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. What we're going to do is we're going to use these videos as an opportunity to show the people in Europe and in America that there is a real need for funding in Africa. And these are the 3 types of funding that we are looking for. So when that funding comes in, then it will be distributed to the different centers to do what we need to do, which is our vision that we have for the displaced people, for training the youth, and for creating a business network in Africa. Right, so that is in a nutshell. But we'll explain to you. We'll give you a call in the day and just go through the early part of the meeting as well, so that you are 100% clear on that. But thank you for your feedback, Pastor Joris. Brother Ronel, your hand is up. You can go.
Yes, thanks, Pastor. Yeah, I think what we could ask from some of the members by Pastor Joris are for volunteers, not for money, but for time and effort. I just want to say I'm available in KZN, preferably Durban North, Durban South, to come assist anyone in their outreach. I think it's important, yes, as I said, to get these videos done, get the images as we build a portfolio that people can see what the funding. So yes, we set up around the different communities and do that outreach, capture everything, use ourselves to build a little profile. I think you're going to put all of this back to one of the websites, if it's the some website. And to know that once people can connect with what you're doing, could connect with the emotion, with the need, and to help and try and bring relief and make a better impact in the communities and society. There are people set just for this, and I just want to say quickly, earlier this year, I watched that I had 3 athletes. My daughter was one of them, and they had to go represent South Africa in fencing championships. And they did crowdfunding. And all 3 of them, they raised over 200,000 rands. And because the government wasn't giving support for that. But yeah, they simply, as 3 young ladies, they managed to get in excess of 200,000 rands. And it's because people see something they want to give into, they want to support, and we had to do, my wife did a lot with my daughter's profile and all her videos and fighting in different championships. And national tournaments and that kind of thing. And they put all of that together nicely in a very professional manner. And there are people who sow and fund all kinds of different things around this world. Any event you can quite possibly find a funder, as long as you're transparent, you're real, you have a bit of a record, a bit of a history that if they want to check, they can verify. And I think some people don't even verify. They're just happy to go with what they've seen, you know. So as much as we could provide for things to be legitimate, capture everything real and put out there for them, people will look into it and want to fund. Yeah. Whether we do it on Facebook, the TikTok. I mean, Brother Brian and Pastor, they're in charge of how they're going to do this media campaign for it. But once we're on all the social medias and the website, they can find the place they're going to fund this. And yes, we're going to have challenges. I'm just offering my help as well around the area. Anyone needs help when you're moving around, I'm available. We can plan. Thanks.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for that, Brother Ronell. Yeah, absolutely. I think the key here is for you to create that community event where we engage with the community, we engage with our young people, we engage with our foreigners, people that have had their family members go back to their home country, and then of course business, creating sustainable businesses in our communities. So I think how do we convey that message to someone in Europe, because they don't understand what happens in Africa? How do we convey that? Is it transparent? Is it giving a message? Is it meeting a need? Very important. Go ahead, Pastor Gibson.
Pastor. Hello?
Go ahead, Pastor.
For me, I'm so much happy with the discussion and what has been said. I believe these things can work.
Amen.
That is what I have to say.
Thank you, Pastor Gibson. Also pull in Pastor Emmanuel and Pastor Baptist in. Yeah. Pastor Elson, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask that now the communities we are focusing on, is it only within South Africa, or we can also include Mozambique and?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question, Pastor Elson. Wherever we plan on doing our initiatives and our business, if we can get the campaign there as well, that is going to be perfect. Actually, if we could target those areas, Mozambique, Lesotho, and Eswatini, I think that's fine. You're not limited to one location.
Yeah, because I know when I was there, though I couldn't attend because of time, they have a program where they go to the boys who lives in the mountain taking care of cattle. You know, all they do is to live in the mountain. No car can get there, so we park the car and then ride with the horses up the mountains. Even though it was an outreach program, I couldn't attend in April when I was there because of my busy schedule. But I think it's another opportunity that we can use also to reach them and also to train them on other business ideas.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Yeah, you're not limited to one location, Pastor Elson. I think the key is going to be whoever is there, that you're working with, if you can clearly give them the vision, like what are we trying to achieve here, or in terms of footage, what kind of footage do we need? And I think maybe we can be a little bit more clear about it, but Brian will be able to help us out on that one. Any other questions? Pastor Jorez, your hand is up. Go ahead. Thank you, Pastor Elson.
Please, Pastor Ash, bear with me as I didn't catch you from the beginning. My ideas are not clear, but I have just to raise one point on regarding as I did mention that I did heard that Brother Ronel and they will make a video of presentation for that, but I want to raise one point of mine is I'm from the background of Methodist Church because my father is a bishop and has been and have retired. So we have done those when missionary was coming and reach out to the people. I know I'm aware that will be done. The location doesn't matter whether in South Africa or near South Africa, but there was a challenge that we have been facing because I was traveling with my father to locations because this had been a good idea to raise funds so that America may be sponsored and sponsor some activities to sponsor schoolship and bursaries and all that and poor locations so that they may sponsor. Now, as they've been divided with there are some stuff we don't need to go to in detail, like LGBT and all that have separate communities according to traditions and all that in Africa. So I've been on the ground regarding that kind of stuff. So if we want to produce videos in those kind of it, we have to be very specific, especially to talk to the people who believe in us and believe in the vision if the vision is well presented. Because those people, they don't need only video, they need proof, tangible proof. And the result, most of the time, they expect an immediate and a short-term result, not a prolonging because it's gonna backfire on them and on the leader who have promoted the video. Hey, you have, even though we can make them sign the form, it may not look like we are using their image because we want to get, sometimes most of the time they think that those who record the video, make the video, they gain more than what they give and what they serve to the community. So if it's very well specified and described, it's gonna be helping for so that you may not be having challenges, especially as we deal with many pastors here. For example, if you say that location is not a limitation, I take, for example, people from my location that I know that they need on this, they need to be sponsors. Let's say we have youth or we have elderly, and just an example. But we record, but it takes time for the impact to affect them. And then I will have the complaint, and then it can affect even the work on the ground. That's why was also, that thing was affecting also on church planting when I was going down with my father in location. I went to Zambia with my father for church implantation of Methodist Church because I'm part of it. I'm born in Methodist Church, grew up within it, and my father have retired. So we have reached several regions of how you call it, Rhodesia's regions, as you can say, not SADC, just Rhodesia, to put it that way. So when we record those things that we can group, because they have give my father strategies that you don't need to present the people that are looking well so that he may attract the attention of sponsors. Because most of the church, let's say we had the sponsors in America from Methodist Church, including today, one of my brother is a Methodist church in America, in Texas, who is running two churches. So they're doing that. We have been doing, I call it the sponsoring stuff of the, but we're doing porridges and maize, delivering of maize from the portal and borders, and then that's been clear. But what have reached to them was little and heavy, including what I did like is what you present. We have to sign all those things that you have sent it to us so that we may be accountable, because we cannot just be a leader and responsible without be accountable. This is what have been sponsored. This is what we have received. And then they have to be a clear report that this is what we have received and this is what we have spent. Because when there is a wrong feedback from the community or from the region where things are sponsored, it will affect not only the person as a leader, it will affect the whole organization in himself, and it will won't be well presented. Because remember, now we have social media, we have television and all that. So if it can be recorded, there must be also a time frame. How can we act and how can we proceed so that the people that we have recorded, we need to meet their need on these terms and time. Then we know that if we may not face negativity, which we cannot avoid, because when there is a vision, you must face challenges and obstacles. So there may be delay, which can be sometimes demonic hindering in the spirit that can cause, but we cannot only consider it spiritually, because on the ground, the people, they need actions, they need proof of the ministry. We preach Jesus loves the people when they don't have. I went with my father on the mission ground where he sponsor, I call it, been sponsors from America stuff. But what we have shared there, what they've sponsored wasn't enough. And he ended up distributing his own clothes. And then when after finished all, because say it wasn't enough. And then we come out there with a bad name. And then they did vow that they don't want to see us back over there. So we must be realistic on what we're doing, especially, when we do, we all pastors here, mission and missionary on the ground have different realities. So when you read the book and when you're on the ground, you want to have say, okay, I'm going to sleep in one atoll and one stars hotel or 2, 3 or 5. Sometimes it's gonna be a shacks that we have in South Africa. So now when we arrive there, you have all those facing those realities. So I've been we have a region near Zambia there. We got it is the Kapolowe and the Kambovo that is connected to Zambia and DRC. They have the same tribe, which is and the same king. Sometimes they share. This is not only for laugh. They said, I call it, when colonialism come to separate borders. So if you have your grandfather who have died by the border of Zambia and DRC. So if the border have passed by his belly, his head is in Zambia and the feet is in Congo. So when you want to put a flower, you're gonna put in which. So we have also to consider all that, a time frame and how many time and how the time frame that will take to act, so that we may not have a bad representation and a bad name on what we are doing. Because what we are doing, we're doing for Jesus to help the community, but the name mustn't be messed up. That is what I wanted to raise up as my point. I hope it makes sense even I catch you in the middle of the meeting.
No, we hear you. We hear you. I think it's very important that uh, we know exactly what you're talking about. But we are not going to be doing that in terms of, remember, what is our mission? Our mission is under 35, making disciples, equipping the young people to do business in Africa. So we are not here to feed people. We are not going to be using the money to feed anybody. So if people are looking for money for us to feed them right at the outset, and I'll send everything through to you so you have a clear idea, we are not that's not what the money is going to be used for. The money is going to be used for training and development, entrepreneurship programs, building maybe a community center or a youth center, doing business and leadership training. It is for that specific purpose. So when I say you're going to have a community event, Pastor Bakau is having a youth event this weekend. He can explain something to you about that. But for example, if we're having something for the kids, we'll give them workbooks. We'll have some people to play some games with them, some icebreakers, and maybe some sandwiches and some juice there because children get hungry and thirsty, and teach them something from the Bible, and then say, okay, guys, we just want you to know this is Jesus loves you, etc., etc. So everything that we're doing is going to go around discipleship of children, discipleship of youth, entrepreneurship for our young people, training and development. We are at no point saying we're going to give you anything, right? So we're not making any promises of that. Even when people give the money, we are going to first look at training and development of our young people, and then how can we establish businesses and use that. So for example, if it is in Zambia, and I'm just using this as an example, Pastor Gibson said they would be able to, they need peanut butter and cornflakes. So if we could buy a container load of peanut butter and cornflakes and send it over there and distribute it to the local businesses, or he uses the small businesses and distributes it into the community for them to resell as a business. So we're giving them a business in a box idea. And so that is where we're going with this initiative. This is not asking American people to come and do certain things. Even when it comes to the funding is going to be used for the centers that we have here, specifically for these regions. We are not giving Millie Meal, we're not giving Maize Meal, we're not giving homes, we're not giving anything. We are showing you how to make money, and we are training you with discipleship. Those are the two things that we committed to from the beginning. Pastor Jorez, your hand is still up. You can go ahead. Brother Ronel, I see your hand. We'll come to you. Go ahead, Pastor Jorez.
Sorry, Mom, I forgot to remove it, but I do understand very well the idea. It was a point, but it was, I think it was out of the topic just to raise a point, but I will catch up and then I'll bring up a right ideas on what you have shared.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pastor Jorez, for that. Go ahead, Brother Ronel.
I was just going to add, Pastor. Yeah, it's I follow what Pastor Joris is saying. It's quite correct in its own domain. That more pertains to sponsor grants, which that has demand strict reported metrics, outcomes, as he said, having results quickly. But crowdfunding gives you that freedom. People they put their money. There's no real onus of reporting or what you do about it. These GoFundMes, you see it online with the TikToks, people raise lots of money, they do whatever with it. But in terms of strict reporting, that reporting remains in-house with us to steward over whatever funds come in to do these community outreach and development programs. I should say those metrics will be governed in-house in the DSAM. We'll look at everything carefully, that things are accountable for what is done, but we don't own that when it comes to crowdfunding. It gives you that total freedom from district reporting, showing quick outcomes, even though we will still do these things. But there's no one on our back. There's no loss of reputation, any kind of thing like that, But I follow what he's saying, but it's really crowdfunding versus sponsor grants, So we're not dealing with big organizations here when it comes to crowdfunding. What he says there more applies to sponsorship, to say. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Pastor Jorez, I also just sent you a link at the moment, so you can have a look at it. It is an example of a crowdfunding campaign that is online at the moment. So we will be putting something exactly like, well, not exactly, but it'll give you an idea as to how it works. And even on that site, you'll be able to you'll be able to look at different projects. The one that I sent you is a crowdfunding campaign to plant churches in an underground movement, and they are looking for $60,000 to do it. And you'll see how they did it. I don't see any videos there, but if you go to the bottom of the page, you'll see the Haskin family's mission. They want $17,000 and all sorts of things. So it will give you an idea as to how it works. And then this is a Christian one, and there's plenty of those crowdfunding campaign or websites that we will be putting it on. But specifically, we'll put it in front of a Christian audience. And then because of the business initiative and the anti-immigration one, I think we can put it on a normal secular crowdfunding platform, because people understand a real problem. South Africa has been on BBC, it's been on Sky, it's been on Al Jazeera, CGT, and the whole world knows what South Africa is doing to immigrants. So I think we can put it into secular platforms. Brother Brian, you can go, and then after that, Brother Ronald.
Thank you so much again for the word. I just wanted maybe to clarify a little bit in terms of the media production. Thank you so much again, Pastor Ash, for allowing me to, to oversee the campaigns that we'll be doing. I believe it's just gonna be us discussing maybe with different media teams, with all the pastors. As you said already, they have medias in their churches. We'll just discuss how we want the videos to be captured and how do we tell a story in the way that is more efficient. It's convincing per se, of those different community event that will be done to empower the youth, to uplift people, especially also for the people that have been moved from South Africa to other countries. If anybody that is in those countries can have access, to collect people that are there, how they're doing, and if we could. I remember if we started this earlier, at the time we had most of some of the Zimbabwean and the Malawians, I believe, by North Beach. There were a lot of them there waiting for the bus to take them across. That was also a time maybe to capture a few of the footages and all of that, but we can always have hands on that. But that was before they went back to their countries. I believe there's also places there how we can capture and how we can put our hands. I've watched on social media Prophet Bushiri organize buses, and he himself in his own capacity, I think in affiliation with the government, did some few help there to get people across and help. I believe there's still groundwork that can be done there. Also, for us to collect some footages so that we can raise awareness in terms of that. On my side, I will do the same thing in Congo, checking people that I know or people that know somebody that is that side. How are they doing? How are they received? And just maybe capture a few things in terms of footage that will tell a story properly. So we receive so the video can tell the story, and that will apply to all the videos that will be made across different countries, across all the campaigns that will be made. To touch base a little bit on what Pastor Jerez was speaking about, I believe we've had missionary coming a lot to Africa. And when you help people, you give them clothes or food, it's a once-off thing. But I believe with us, what we're trying to change the course of their future. If you can give them a tool or a knowledge, it's more going to help them to be able to be self-sufficient for the future. If you can give them a small startup for a business, empower them like that, small startup to give them small funding to start the business. We can record all of that from all the people that will be capable of giving business funding. No, myself included, you can have business ideas, you can have a whole big vision, but not having funding to be able to start. So a business funding, as little as it can be, as long as you didn't have it, that is, I believe that is an amazing thing for some people in all across Africa. It can be simple people like the one that just sells on the streets, in Africa that sells maguinas and the one that sells water that will need a simple injection of X amount of money. If you can help multiple people like that while preaching the gospel to them, that would be empowerment. And then the centers will teach people about business awareness, what is business, how you turn your profit, how you do your inventories, how you understand to project yourself 2 years, 5 years so that you can grow your business. We give them knowledge, we empower them, we create centers that can help people maybe on a low cost or free if we have enough money to empower people to teach them and to help them in the future. For instance, I'm from Goma, and there is so many things. If you come to give people food, there's orphans, there's so many things that are happening there. I don't even think we have current capacity to to give people food and all these other things. But I believe being capable of tapping into some orphanages and say, hey, if you have people that are under 35, we would be more than welcome to give them skills. And then after that, maybe inject into them an amount, put some money in their hands to be able to start a business, train them on a few things that we know here in SA that can that can really be big opportunity for them. Give them the skills, the knowledge, and eventually give them some funding to start, and then allow them to go from there. So yeah, that's it for me.
Thanks, Brother Brian. Yeah, absolutely. So whatever you need to discuss, Brother Brian will give you an overview of it and guide you as to how the footage should be. I'll also send some other crowdfunding campaigns that have a similar mission to what we have, and you'll see how the videos are recorded as well. So it is a guide. And then maybe if you have any questions, we can go from there. Brother Brian, I see that Brother Ronell sent you a message on the chat here regarding the sugar. So I think just check that out as well so that you can maybe try and arrange that. Anybody else? Precious, you good there? Samia? Mr. Elson, go ahead.
Yes, I just remembered that when the issue of sugar was touched, my network was just misbehaving, so I didn't hear almost all of it. But I know around here we produce sugar, so I miss to understand so that I can be able to contribute. If there is a need for supplying sugar, then around here we've got 2 sugar mills.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, what we were saying is that Brother Ronell can get an allocation of Brazilian sugar, and he can give you more information about that. And then he sent a message on the chat to Brian because Brian said there's a need for sugar in the DRC. So Pastor Gibson as well. I don't know if Zambia is producing sugar, but the message that is on the chat is the specs to get a LOI for an allocation of sugar. So maybe check if you can get an allocation of sugar from those sugar mills, or are they already contracted? Brother Ronell, anything you want to add?
But I seem not to be able to see the message, but I think from what I've heard, there's sugar available from Brazil.
Yes, and now Pastor Elson says that there is 2 sugar mills where he is, so he's going to check if they have an allocation of sugar for export.
Okay, thank you. I will look into getting an LOI.
Okay, perfect.
Sugar in the DRC, and then I'll touch base.
Okay. And then Brother Ronald, maybe just send that message through to me so I could forward it to everybody so they know what you have there. And then Pastor Elson, are you okay with just inquiring and seeing if there's an allocation of sugar available in your local mill?
Yes, I'm okay with that. Actually, while we were in the meeting, to one guy who works very close to the sugar mills, both of them, because they are running a very big trust that owns most of the farms that supplies the sugar cane, sorry. I was checking with him if he can be available for a meeting tomorrow. So I thought I was going to call you after the meeting about that.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that, Pastor Alson. It would be nice to see if we have a local allocation, and then Brother Ronald's got one in South America, and then we go from there. We can send those specs out. Anybody else? Mayor, anything on your side?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Pastor Bakau, I know you joined late, but we just went over the minutes and some products that we have access to immediately. Any feedback there? How's your thoughts on the crowdfunding campaign, etc.? Anything you want to share?
Yes, greetings, team. Apologies for joining late. It's been a hectic day, so I literally just ended one meeting to come to this one. But yes, in terms of the crowdfunding, I think it would be a great initiative in that as well. If you just keep feeding somebody and you don't teach them how to feed themselves, you're not solving anything. You're treating symptoms that you're gonna have to keep treating because they'll be reoccurring. Because tomorrow again they're gonna be hungry, later they're gonna be hungry. So I think in the training, it is a skill that nobody can take away from them. And in that, even if they don't go out to be major suppliers or go and break out into big markets, there is a huge market for small and informal businesses that they can tap into, and they are feeding themselves. So I think in imparting those skills, it has a far-reaching and a longer-lasting effect than not to take away from the effect of feeding schemes and the likes that Pastor Jores mentioned, not to take away from their impact, but it has a far-reaching and a far greater lasting impact if I've taught you how to do it, because then it gives us the opportunity to go and feed somebody else, help somebody else feed them. So in that, we have then eliminated one problem or one area or one region permanently. Then we can expand and grow further. So I support it, and the foundational guidelines that we have received also I think are fundamental, and if we implement them, can do us very well. I think I just got it on the tail end when Brother Brian was making his remarks with regards to media and how we package it and whatever, which is something I'm very familiar with and I've worked with in that. Those intricacies, especially when you go into media, especially when you must go and publish and release content, all of those things we must have our backs covered, otherwise it can land us in trouble. So with regards to that, I've also got copies of NDAs and whatever else that we had that we used in the industry. If we can maybe compare templates if it's needed, I can also provide those and those things. But I think yes,
How do you feel about working with Brother Brian on that?
I don't have a problem with it.
Brother Brian?
Yes, I'm very good with that. We
Okay.
can work together.
Yeah, then we've got it in the hands of two professionals. So whatever you miss, Pastor Bakau's there, and vice versa. So Pastor Bakau, thank you for that. I think that's a good combination, and you understand the vision and what we're trying to achieve in our communities. And I think that both of you, for as long as we tell us how the videos need to go, we'll get it to you, and you send it out there. Because I think there's so many people that are passionate, just like how we are, about what is going on, and they don't have a platform to give. When the Holy Spirit is saying give, guess what? We're not there. We are not there. And so we need to put ourselves out there. And I think this is going to give us a voice, not just in Africa, but across the globe. So I think, and I think that we are such great storytellers, every single person here. And if we put our skills together, I think we can put something really, really great out there. So, and I think we are dealing with leaders that have been in the field. You know the need, you know what we can do. The vision doesn't need to be sold to you. You already saw the heavenly vision. You know what we're trying to do in Africa. And I think everybody here knows where each other's hearts are. And yeah, at least we do not have to question those things. So any other comments before we close up? If we have to meet in the week during the day or something, we can always just log on to our computers and just run a couple of things past each other and go off, So we're quite flexible with that. And don't feel afraid to, if you don't understand something, just pick up the phone and ask, send a message. We'll clarify it instead of trying to figure it out what's going on. So, and then also if we can maybe, things to think about when this meeting closes is like, when can we start doing that community initiative? And then I'll also give you a list of the things that you can do in your community. Pastor Bakau has a community initiative happening this weekend. And so it's a good opportunity. Maybe he knows exactly what we're trying to achieve here. He'll probably send us some nice ideas. And so at least we know one is off the ground, and then we'll start planning our other community initiatives. Same with you, Pastor Gibson. You guys are in 3 different locations in Zambia. If you can explain it to your sons, I'll send out the link for this video so that they can go ahead and watch it and be clear. If they need any information, just send me the messages or send me their telephone numbers, or give them my telephone number so that they can just send me a message. And Brother Brian is there, Pastor Bakau is there. They have experience, they know exactly what we need. And we spent a lot of time with them. They understand the vision and they will be able to assist. Brother Ronald is based in KZN. If you need assistance in KZN, he will avail himself. Right. So we basically are also looking, we want the NCNDAs to be signed by tomorrow, 4 o'clock, so that we can start giving out information. Pastor Bakau, one of the things we said is that we have a contract for a logistics contract that is available for 12 months. We have an allocation of sugar that is available for immediate purchase. And then we have an allocation for petrol coming out of Abu Dhabi. So those are 3 things that we have access to immediately. That is why that NCNDAs are very important, so that once it's signed, we can send you the information and you can already start moving around and saying, okay, who do you know that is dealing in petrol, that has the capacity to purchase petrol, etc. Same with sugar, same with the logistics contract that we have. Right, so that NCNDAs, if we can prioritize it as our first goal for tomorrow. And then we also have access to maize. We would be able to import maize. We would be able to import nuts, and we will be able to import beans from Zambia. Pastor Gibson brought those 3 to us, and they are looking for cornflakes, for canned beans, and butter, like peanut butter. So they are looking for the end product. And so at the moment, they are going to give us information on their capacity to supply, and we are going to give them a capacity to supply the finished product. And we're going to work from there. Go ahead, Pastor Bakau.
Sorry, I was just writing down. I wanted to find out. We said the maize, nuts, and beans are from where?
Zambia.
Zambia. So we are giving them raw material.
No, they are giving us raw material. We are giving them finished product, which is cornflakes, canned beans, and peanut butter.
Excellent.
Okay, and then Brother Ronel had some questions regarding the cows, like how are we expecting them to breed? How fast before we have multiplication of the 500?
Yes. So what's nice about this is that I think I should also just arrange a meeting so that we can get on the same page, and then just for us to also, I think we were to finalize cost per container and the pricing, so on and so forth, if we can get those numbers down. But we've got a chain of farmers, commercial farmers and breeders that we are in communication with. So it is always nice, and it will always be available for us to outsource.
But I think for me, what I need to have confirmed by tomorrow is how much of those cattle are ready, because there are cattle that have not been tested for breeding and they have not been registered, that we use for personal consumption in the house where we process and eat and do whatever. How many of those are available to us from that lot that we can start? And then what is available to us in terms of outsourcing? And then we would also need to know supply and demand and turnaround times. But I think on average to process meat from slaughter takes a few hours, and then it has to be frozen, I think, for about 2 days, then processing starts. So from there, maybe it's a full day's work to process one carcass. That is, of course, we are not using a lot of manpower because it's for personal consumption. But I think turnaround time, let's give it 3.5 days, 4 business days, if we are being accurate. So for me, what is for me to confirm then is, of course, yes, to know what the demand is and then to know the supply that is available to us. And then therefore we can arrange a meeting and then discuss the nitty-gritties and also pitch that we've got the tracking allocation for 12 months that is available and so on and so forth. And then we take it from there. But in terms of compliance in commerce, for now, of course, I would be operating under the umbrella of the company that's already existing because they've got the accreditation. So then it would have to be a third party that we add in terms of the NCMDAs, that we are in agreement with them and then we're operating under them and we can proceed like that. But then for us, let's just clarify supply and demand, pricing per container, and what we need to do from there. And then we set a meeting. This old man is also as slippery as soap. He'll say, I'll get back to you, get back to you. You don't know Jesus is going to come. He's still not back. So I think tomorrow that would be my priority, to then get him on the phone and then maybe we set up a meeting and we speak all of those things. And then we get the NCNDAs also signed and then we see how we proceed from there and see which of the people in that agricultural network that we use. And then we also maybe then pitch the agri-processing and the lands that are available, because one thing about the Northern Cape as well is I think we won the top elite beef cattle breeder in South Africa, I think for 2 or 3 consecutive years in a row. So the department is trying to give him land, but he's very slow about it. So maybe if now we bring this to him, it will put pressure on him to start moving and occupying more farms. And then it also gives us plenty of space for us to grow and expand. While we are outsourcing, then we are also reproducing from our own capital from the startup that we are then starting up on our own land that we have sourced and gotten for free from the government, because they are trying to partner with him because he's represented the country well. So I think let me get that meeting with him and then let's discuss those logistics. And other than that, accreditation, paperwork, licensing, all of those certifications are in order.
Perfect. Thanks, Pastor Bakau. What about biltong from your end of the world? I mean, that should be premium stuff. Is that also something that can be done?
Yes, we do make our own biltong. Don't make it from the wild animals. We do make biltong. So that is also something that is available, which is also a market that is vacant nowadays this side, because I see the quality is dropping. So at least then we also have that at our disposal. So yes, that is also an avenue that we can explore, and we've got experience in that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also yeah, you know the crap quality of biltong that the rest of the country has to deal with. If you're not in Pretoria, Limpopo, or Northern Cape, you're gonna get terrible biltong. But yeah, I think if we can't pull in a massive allocation of beef, I think biltong is a good way to go. And then also just maybe write down canned beef. If we can can it and export it, would he be able to give us some certifications for export, maybe SABS approval or whatever it is, because he's already sitting with it. So another thing that we could look at is canned beef. So check up, write that down so that we could just experiment with that, because then we're not worrying about refrigeration, we're not worrying about stuff like that. We could still supply, and then also find out from him, why is he not supplying the local guys, like your local Spar, your local Checkers, ShopRites? What's the reason there? And then what happens if we can get it into our ShopRite and our Checkers? Is that something that can be done? Write that down as well.
I can answer quickly.
Yeah.
He's a very slow thinker. Very, very slow. We've been putting pressure on him. And I think also now his problem is time, because he's also full time in the mines. He's an operations manager at South 32. So I think if I avail myself and say I'm here, the operation is here, I will man it will be better, because even the local guest houses and whatever have been saying, we spend so much money on meat that you could just supply us. And he's not been taking heed to that. So I think that is also something that's been in the pipeline. And maybe if we've presented him with the proper demand, proper documentation, it will give him that nudge to move on, because there have been many requests and there is a demand for that kind of supply. So I think yes, he would be open to that. If we just bring the proper documentation, because he's as straight as a metal ruler, not even a plastic one, a wooden one. He wants things done by the book. 1 + 1 must equal 2, and that's that. So I think if we've got that in order, we should be good to go.
Okay, perfect. So I think just write that down. Biltong canned beef. Why is it not in the franchise stores? Why isn't there like a premium line? If you want best breeder for elite cattle breeder, I mean, like that's in itself a point of unique selling point. Why do we not have it in premium as a premium brand somewhere? So I think write that down. And then the other thing is, on Saturday, when you're having your event there, when you're doing a recording for the campaign for the Northern Cape, we want it to include the young people, that. We want it to include a youth center. We want it to include farming, right? So however you are working it out, just make sure those 3 things are there for the Northern Cape. We want that for the Northern Cape. Right. Any other questions so far? And also the same for you, Pastor Elson, because there's land there. We want to do agriculture. We want a youth center in there, or an import-export hub, training center, entrepreneurship training, stuff like that. When you're doing the videos, that is what we want to focus on. Any other questions before we close up? So Pastor Bakau and Brother Brian are overseeing the videos, the recordings, and the campaigns. At least let's play it by ear. When can we? I said in 3 weeks. We've got from now till 3 weeks to set up an event, a community event. Pastor Bakau is hitting it off on Saturday, so we already have something happening. So in KZN, we'll see how we're going to work it out. I'll see what we're going to put together here for us to do, and we go from there. Precious, brainstorm some ideas. Let's see what we can do in terms of the Eastern Cape. Maybe we could do something with the kids, like training material. Maybe just we could do a sort of give back to the community with our young kids and work from there. But play around with some ideas. It would be good to put them together and put ourselves online. Anything else before we close up? Everyone good? Pastor Gibson, you good? Precious, you good? Brian, you good there? Okay, Pastor Elson, you're good. Samaya, you're good. Pastor Bakau, okay. Come, let us close in prayer. Pastor Elson, don't you want to please close for us?
Let's pray.
Amen.
Precious Father, we thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
Lord, after everything, we rely on you for everything to come. We pray, Lord, that you be ideas so that, Lord, this thing grow, and we pray for protection. We cover ourselves. And Lord, as we're going to we pray that you rest.
Yes, God.
In the mighty name. There is no weapon against mission that help. And Lord, we thank you that you are taking relevant to contribute and your name will be. We thank you, Lord.
Thank you. In Jesus' name.
Amen and amen and amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pastor Alson. I sent everybody a form. It's about just a profile of what products we can work through. I will do the minutes of the meeting, so everybody that joined late will be able to see exactly what products we're working with. But I also set up that form there. If you take a few more minutes, just fill it out so that we have something to work with. And remember, when you're looking for products, what is the capacity to supply, and what is the regulation around it, and what is the competitors' pricing, so we know how to deal with the new product. Right, we're working on some stuff in the background. We are trusting God for the funding, but in the meanwhile, this is something that will meet our short-term goals. Right, have a blessed evening. If anything, I'm available tomorrow. We can connect on Google Meet, and we can go through some of the points here. But thank you so much for your time and for joining, Pastor Gibson, Pastor Bakau. I know it was a long day for you. Brother Brian, you too, Pastor Alson as well. Sister Precious, I know you were in school the whole day. So thank you so much for your time. If anything, just send me a message. Happy or not happy with it, let me know so that we can make things right. Okay, so God bless. We love you and we're praying for you. Take care. Bye, Pastor Bakal. Bye, Pastor Gibson. Bye, Pastor Alson. Bye, Pastor.
Everyone.
Bye, Sister Precious. God bless. Bye, Pastor Gibson. Bye, Pastor Alson. You good?
Yes.
Go ahead.
With regard to the meeting tomorrow.
Sorry, what?
Remember, I spoke to the gentleman who is the chairperson of the trust. So I wanted him to give us his time so that we meet and we explain. So I wanted to check what time can you be available. I know he's a busy man, so whenever he's available.
I'm available. When did you have in mind? I'm available anytime after 10, 11.
Okay. I will ask him for
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just find out, and I'll send you the minutes and the recordings. But I think that community event is going to do us a world of good. I think we onto something here.
Yeah. Because they want a piece of it. Not a piece of a big. So mostly citrus fruit, bananas, and sugar cane. But there is land that is lying down that are not using. They are exporting oranges and grapefruits with bananas, to UK and all that.
Wow.
Yeah. So last time there was a with some other people, but the project seems to be failing, but the land is so we can take advantage. Either because it was a group of people that we put together.
Yeah.
The organization was called Food and Rebuild, but the funders were Africans. So it's either we can begin to give us maybe then we put youth in agriculture.
Yes. Yes. I
Then
think
they
that's
are
a
also setting up a poultry and pig farm where they can supply eggs and pork. So most of Mozambique, so we can build a small plant for making bacon, Viennas in Mozambique. And we supply them with the pork.
Processed meats.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that Mozambique is definitely a place that we can work with. It's right here, you know.
Yeah, there's a church that they support small business, a barber shop, market.
In Mozambique.
In Mozambique, there's a church that I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even him because he was with the king on the, was it 26th? They went 26 June. They went to Mozambique to install a king there because their kingdom is also, they've got land in Mozambique, so they went to install a king there. So I think if we want land, he can also assist us.
Amen.
Whether they will see it. Yeah, when it,
Go ahead.
I'm saying when it comes to culture, he is knowledge. They hold their meetings in Durban.
Oh.
Yeah. Meetings between sellers and sellers. Because us here, the packaging company in Durban most.
Well, that's convenient because we are here, you are there. I think let's see what God is going to do. You know, I think we've brainstormed some good ideas, some good products, and let's see what God does with it because He has a plan. We're not wasting our time. You know, I really believe that God is going to start opening doors, and we need our groundwork to be done. We need to have the specs on our products. What can we supply? What do we need? What is the regulation? What is the paperwork? All of that is important. And we just start securing the deals.
Yeah, because in Mozambique, wrong with onions, ginger, egg, and cooking oil.
Onions, oil, ginger, eggs.
And cooking oil. Garlic, yeah. Most of their food
they eat it with?
Most of their food they like eating garlic. So you'll never go wrong with supply.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, I'm going to see what is our capacity to supply. Can we get these products? What is the minimum order quantity? What is the pricing? And then we start putting it out there, right? This is how much we can supply. This is the payment terms. This is how it's going to move. So I think that is very important for us. But at least we got some products to work on. And then I'm going to tell Sumaya to give you the details for government, for DERCO, and for the embassies, just to touch base with them and see how we can get in contact with the guys that are overseas. That was picked out from here.
Yeah, most of they come from here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, 100%. 100%. Okay, but we've got a lot of work to do, sending out some information, emails and stuff like that, putting together our product list. We need like a proper online brochure where people can click on a product and request a quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to work on, setting it up online where they would be able to request stuff from us. And in the meanwhile, everybody knows what they need to do. Get us that information, and I'm going to be putting it online, and we work from there. I think we're gonna be doing well in the next 3 months. We'll be off the ground.
Yeah, the other thing, you know, they like buying those traditional clothes. Yeah, if we can
You want a machine that can do the prints?
Yes, if we can then we set up a place where you bring people who how do we training them? We also understand how they benefit from the business.
Actually, we've got 2 places here in Durban that is selling the fabric like cheap. What I'll do is I'll go
buying the machine under the fabric.
Yeah. So I will take out some pictures and send to you. They right here, not far from me, and what is the one? What is that place that's closing down there in Conuvia? The haberdashery. What is it called? Craft Concept. If you Google them, they call Craft Concept. Their one branch here next to me is closing down. Everything is going like dirt cheap, like 2 rand, 5 rand, 10 rand, that kind of thing. So when I go down there, I'll take out some pictures and send it to you, especially for like small businesses and stuff like that, you know. With like about 3,000 rands or something, you can buy proper stock and open up a haberdashery. They're closing down the store here. And even fabric, they got bales and bales.
I used to buy this stuff.
Yeah.
But then they became expensive. Money and then I got broke.
Yeah. I'll take out some pictures, check what they have. They're closing down. So it's not like a continuous supply of that pricing. You know, you can still get that stuff. It'll be a high price, but because the store is closing down, everything is like going, like they said, up to 80% off on certain things. So you can get a couple of things that you can literally double or triple.
Yeah.
When I go down there, yeah, I'll take out a video of what they have, and then you can check, because even, you know, the ladies and stuff, they like to buy these things. And also sometimes you're strapped for options.
Yeah.
Yeah, you strapped for options, but but the fabric place, I'll go to the fabric place. A lot of the fabric importers, it comes in through Durban Port, and then also remember a lot of clothing factories in Durban. Everybody's buying these things in bulk. So I will send you some pictures, see if it can work, and then we'll check around for these machines that can do the prints. So that is another small business idea that you can set up there.
Yeah, maybe
you need a what?
I had a place
Yeah.
selling some products. They were too slow. So I was thinking of closing. If I can get, maybe I can revive it.
Yeah. I will go down there tomorrow. It's about 15 minutes from my house. I will go down there, take out some videos for you, different stuff. You could just revive it, and you'll see the type of things. Maybe use the closing down stuff to boost the capital in the shop, and then once you boost the capital, then you can buy other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will do that for you. I will go down there tomorrow and take out some videos and pictures.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, Pastor. I will keep in touch with you. Tomorrow I'll send you some messages. But yeah, in the meanwhile, let's get quantities and prices and stuff like that. Let's put our catalog together.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. And the other thing that I can give you, which is what I'm holding here, I have a lot of books. It's basically for churches to open up like bookstores. But I can give it to you on consignment. As you sell it, you can give me the money. I'll take out some pictures of that and send as well. So I can, you can put it up there. You can market it. As you sell, you can put the money in the bank account.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be appreciated.
No problem. But tomorrow I'll go down there to the haberdashery to Craft Concept. If you Google them, you'll see the type of stuff that we are talking about. They got a store on that. Yeah, they got one in Overcourt and one here in the North Coast. The North Coast one is closing. So just check out Craft Concept, and the other fabric store I'll see when I can go down there, and I'll take out some pictures of the African prints.
All right, thank you.
You too. God bless, Pastor. Take care. God bless. Bye.